I'm going to call this May 12th Town Board meeting to order at 7:04. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thanks everybody for coming. Let's go ahead and get started for business. Highway,
Right on top, huh?
you the first one, always there, Nick. Always
Yeah.
number one.
Okay, why I'm really here tonight is I know we're hard up for funds on road work, and I rode around and looked them over, and I think maybe we can do some cutting down on what's gonna get paved. I went through Willow Run and I saw 4/10 of a mile that really needs it. Maybe we can get Katie Company to hit and run spots and see if we can get them down. If they don't wanna do it that way, I know once they set their truck up to go, they like to keep going, you know? We'll have to get 3 bids on other people doing it to save some money, you know? So what I'm gonna do is mark the roads with a white paint, add up the mileage of it, and get the salesman from Katie Company with me, and let me give us another price. Now, maybe we can get a little bit done here on the plaza too, I was thinking, just a portion of it, you know? Without doing the whole thing, fill in the potholes. So, that's what my plan is.
So, when you say repair, you're saying just patch it? Or
No,
tar it?
no, coat it. Put a coating over it, over the road, but
Not just fiber mat?
instead of doing the whole road, do the portions of it that are really bad. Because Willow Run, there's some parts of that road, they don't need the work done, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But the salesman says that once they set up, they like to keep going. So
Yeah,
as they keep going, it costs us more money naturally, and maybe we can get away for another year, you know? So that's what I was gonna shoot for. So let's get another price from him. I didn't wanna bother him up until, I don't know exactly what we got to work with money-wise. I know it was 100,000, but that's without getting a loan, correct? Okay. So let's see if we can stay near that 100,000 some way.
so you're thinking that just for Princetown Plaza, we just do the fiber mat for part of the road?
Yeah.
Isn't that defeat the whole purpose of, as long as they're gonna get here and get set up? We should just do the whole
Maybe we
road.
let them hit spots here. The beginning of Willow Run has to be done, coming off of Kelly Station. That's a little bit bad, and Willow Run is bad from Scotch Ridge up to Brookside. We definitely gotta do that, and I clocked it at 4/10 of a mile from there to there, you know?
Mhm.
So maybe we can save some money on it. I'll check it out. You can get away for another year, you know, and then we can take it from there and go. I'll try to get them to blend it in nice so it isn't a bump in the road, you know? So, that's about it.
How about summer projects?
What do you mean?
Well, I know there was a culvert on Rooter Drive that needed to be cleaned.
Yeah, well, I've asked them, and I don't know, I think you contacted them.
Yeah, well, there's a mix-up signal.
I think there was a money issue there too. They wanted to get, how much did they want for that?
Well, that's the, I think we would do the mix-up in the signals, because I think what I was asking and then what somebody else was asking for came out in 2 different stories, so we didn't get an actual price, but, you know, we're entering the rainy season again. I guess we should have been in it already, but, so, you know, there's a couple of those cleanouts that gotta be cleaned, and then, you know, the stormwater runoff should be cleaned too, so.
And the pipe's gotta be clean coming down, because if the manhole's full, they're pulled down, all the way down.
That's what I'm saying, so, you know, we should probably start getting some prices on that too.
George and myself went through it real good that one day. Remember, George?
Yeah.
And we know exactly what we wanted them to do, but I never saw them come up and do it.
No, that hasn't been done.
So.
They're not gonna do it until they get paid.
Well, I think they gotta get,
We gotta get
from the
approval.
board here too, I think. They wanna make sure they're gonna get paid right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I just called them recently on the bottom of Rooter Drive. The catch basins sank down, and what created the whole thing was plowing, the snow during the winter. The plows hit the bank and took the dirt down to the end. And I've got complaints from the people on the street about it, but I called them and I met with them twice, and we're waiting to get it done. Now, I told them that that's their project because it's also on Pangburn Road. It's right on the corner of Pangburn Road, you know what I mean? And Rooter.
Joe Ryan said yes to that?
I didn't talk to Joe, I talked to the fellas who go around.
I'm pretty sure Joe's gonna say, I don't think so, but.
No, you might know. I don't talk to Joe too much.
Yeah.
We got two good people in this area, and it was Ralph and Paul.
Yeah.
And I've been doing business with them.
So besides Rooter Drive, do we have any other culverts or anything else that's gotta be cleaned, or?
No, I can think of, I think Overlook, I met him one day, and he was happy about what happened with that last year. I think we had it dug out where the water would go in the retention section of it.
Right, yep, that worked out. He's
So
happy.
I met him somewhere, and he was happy with that.
Yep.
So that's okay. And luckily, our roads aren't really all that bad, considering, looking at all the other roads all over the city and Rotterdam, and all the potholes. We don't have that many potholes. Only pothole I see is right here on the plaza. So the water's running off the roads pretty good, and there's a pocket in them.
Yeah.
And the trick of keeping that is next winter, before we get it, we do have to check all the cracks in the road and get them sealed. That's an important issue.
Right, and that's what we should be doing this year, right? Is seeing the
Yeah.
roads gotta be sealed.
We gotta try to get that in, you know?
So how is Shagbark? Look at Shagbark?
The bottom of Shagbark is a cul-de-sac. I'd like to see them throw some pavement on that. Just the cul-de-sac alone, the rest of it is good. So this is what I'm talking about. I'm gonna let's see if I can get them hit and run while they're in the area without making a big project on doing the whole road. Now, if they won't do it, we'll have to get prices. We get 3 bids from outside contractors. And see what kind of prices we can get, that's it.
So we can get, as long as he's there, we can get a price to do the whole road, Shagbark, Willow, and Princetown Plaza, and then also get him to change, reduce scope of work, and get him to price that too. So we get 2 scopes of work per
Yeah,
road.
well, they're gonna check out the amount of material they're gonna use.
Mhm.
And if they'll be nice enough to put the truck here and move it and put it there, they don't like doing that. So Katie comes, a big outfit. And they like to they go right through the whole road in one day.
Yep, yep.
So I'll just talk to the salesman, Dane Mellon is his name. I gotta get a hold of him, which I didn't do at all because I wanted to know what we had going here. And I know we don't have the funds to do it, so. They gave us a price last year of $145,000, if I remember right, to do Willow Run.
Well, no, do all 3, right?
All 3?
That was Princetown, Shagbark, and Willow Run.
So let's see if we can break it down a little less. If not, can we go for that? I guess you're gonna get a loan if we can't, right?
The loan was one way we were talking about financing for 1% that you start paying back after a year.
Okay.
So you could, in theory, take a
we're-
loan out and then
We're
pay it
just,
back before you pay any interest.
we're just talking, for this year, the roads. Now, we also gotta pay the county for the grass cutting and the snow plowing and everything, which is up close to another $30,000.
It's in the budget.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's about it.
All right, so we're gonna get 2 bids per road, 1 to patch and then 1 to fully treat or fix. So it's a 2-stage deal, right? The mat,
Right,
which is, they pour the tar down and then they put the small stone on, then when it's all packed in, then they come over and put the top on top of it.
right.
That's what we're gonna ask for.
Yeah, we don't just want the stones like they did one time, and then the stones went flying all over. We got a lot of complaints. We gotta put the finished coat on it.
Yeah.
That's about it.
All right, I can't think of any other roads that we need. I mean, we fixed the issue down on Quackenbush, right? They put that drainage across,
Yep, that's it.
so that's what happened. So you're gonna get some quotes first, maybe by next month?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, I can take care of that.
So does anybody on the board wanna look into loans? All right,
Wouldn't it be
I
better
think
to
that's
wait
the
until
supervisor's job.
we know?
so I just wanna look into the process and what the numbers are out there and what the interest rates are. So, I'll look at you.
Sure.
All right, anything for Nick Senior?
I'm good. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks,
You're
Nick.
welcome.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
General Mead.
Nice quiet month.
Quiet's good. Frost out of the ground yet? Is it?
Yeah.
Yesterday?
That was quite a month, you know, just normal maintenance, repairs.
Actually, I don't have any questions for you. Unless you got some, summer projects you want to highlight, but,
Well, I'm sure there'll be projects in the summer.
yeah. Anything?
As long as it's not in front of Bob's house again.
Yeah. Anything for George?
I'm good. Thanks, George.
Thank you, George.
Code enforcement. So, I need to bring to the board so not only have we gotten a huge number of complaints, I had a call from the gentleman or the contractor on Skyline that he called for a footing inspection, and we missed that. And he's on schedule to get a log cabin delivered. So he's looking for an additional inspection before he backfills, but nobody can get in touch with code enforcement.
That's on Skyline, you said?
Yep. And there's also a question about the setback in the driveway, and if it was approved or not. So if this guy has to move his driveway, it's gonna be a problem. So that's just one of a number of complaints we've been receiving regarding code enforcement. So I guess I'm asking the board, what do we want to do?
Can we follow up with the code enforcement and have him go do it?
Well, it's starting to affect people's finances
When did these calls come in?
for the last month and a half.
This one here, the Skyline was a month ago?
Well, because he broke ground, 4 or 5 weeks ago, I put the footings in, put the driveway in. So it's there, he knows about it. And it's bigger than that, right? I mean, it's a bigger problem. How, just one meeting?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I can talk it, but, he's filling out some paperwork tonight, he said. I just called him
Yeah,
before I got here.
I realize
He
that.
ended up with another big job in Manans for a big contractor, and he's been working 12 hours a day. And he's running around in the morning at 7 o'clock looking at jobs.
Yeah.
So he seems, I asked him, he says, I'm answering all the calls.
Yeah, I'm not trying to pick on it, but this is about service to the community and service to the town. That's what this is about. That's really what this is all about, is service to the community. This person on Skyline Drive called Dwaynesburg to see if he can get an inspection from Dwaynesburg. The desk was full of mail and envelopes since March. It got picked up Saturday. Again, I'm not trying to criticize them. I know you guys are busy, and that's great, business is good, work is good, but this is about service to the community. And now, you know, the little politics that's going on is affecting the residents. We don't know how many permits have been issued. We have one of the bigger questions is, where's the cash? Where's the money? This is the last statement. This statement hasn't changed since January. There's no money in the account. Where's the money?
I can't answer that, but,
Nick, I'm not trying to, you know, I'm
no,
just
I
saying.
know, I hear you, I know you, I'll mention it, and the only thing to get them to the meetings a lot of times, last time we worked at Crossgates for 6 months, and I filled in for him, so I might have to get out Manans now so he can do stuff. That's why I called him tonight. I said, you're going to the meeting? He said, I'm on my way home. He said, and I gotta answer 2 calls for the building permits. 2 guys want building permits. He said, so I'm gonna do that tonight.
Yeah.
So that was the last I heard.
So I met another resident who came in tonight trying to contact more work. And again, you know, do we actually think he's doing it, you know, again, I understand, I'm not trying to be perfect, this isn't personal. Is this a service to the town? Are we doing a good job for the town? That's really the question. I can't see it. I mean, never mind where the money is.
I'm wondering if they're calling him on his cell phone or what, where they calling? Because he's got his cell phone going off.
His cell phone's full. And we've heard it from every single person. We've tried here, we've tried his cell phone, then they call me, they're calling Sandy, they're harassing Sandy, they're harassing the bookkeeper.
Okay. If we can't shape him up, you're gonna have to get rid of him.
Well,
I tell you.
well, which, right, nobody wants to go through that. We actually have another problem too. So, when we appointed Nick, he had 12 months to take his training. I'm sure he hasn't taken any, and the town is now in jeopardy, right? You can't do inspections unless you're certified. One exception, there's one exception that New York State makes, and that says if you're hired on and you haven't taken your certification training, or you're not pre-certified, never mind your yearly certification, you have to take the courses. You have to take the courses, and you have 1 year to do it. He's not certified, the town's at risk.
Has it been a year already, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So when we appointed Nick, he had 1 year to take 120 hours credit plus the 24, you know, ongoing credits. Since then, sometime here in the first quarter of this year, they made the extension to 18 months. But there's no way he can make it, because you have to take them sequentially, and they're all over the state. I mean, they're on Long Island, they're in Buffalo, they're all over the state. So I'm asking the board what to do here.
Mike, could I ask, I will go talk to Nick, okay? But my concern is, this is the first time that we as a board have actually heard that he's behind on these calls and things. I mean, for the last month or so. And I understand where we're at, and I know we're gonna have to do something, but if the board would allow me, I will talk to Nick in regards to him following up on these, and I will talk to him about where he's at on the training. And if he's not going to do it, then, as Nick Senior said, we'll have to do something, you know, about getting somebody that is certified.
It's too late. This isn't, you know, taking the training aside. Well, that's actually the number one issue.
No, I can follow up and where the money is too. I mean, we as a board have to do something, and I would like to.
So, Bob, I mean, no disrespect, but I mean, you come to these meetings every month.
Mhm.
And every month we've asked, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on?
Well, this is the first I've heard that he was behind, so I'm
I
sorry.
can't help it if you're not, you know, your fingers aren't on the pulse of the town.
Why are you talking about an employee at a public meeting?
That's right.
That's
So
so
out
out
of
of call.
so out of place.
That was wrong. I can't believe the board let you go on.
Right.
Unbelievable.
So the action that I'm asking the board to do is, well, to take an action.
Well, I'm not for taking any action.
So you understand that we're at there's a risk here, a liability risk. I just want you to confirm that you understand that. I mean, they're making an issue of the code enforcement in Schenectady.
You know, Mike, this is a personnel policy and a problem, and it shouldn't be addressed at a town board meeting.
When
If
should
we
it be
have to,
addressed?
if we have to have that, we should call Nick in, and just like we do with everybody else that has a personnel problem,
Should be
and they're not
executive
doing their job
session.
properly, that's what we do. We don't address it at a town board meeting.
Executive session is when you
Okay,
deal with that.
that's fine. So let's talk about the money then, because that's of everybody's attention then.
Executive session.
Talk about cash?
If it's pertaining to an employee,
It's a-
yes.
Really?
Absolutely.
So what about the residents who signed checks and they haven't been cashed yet?
Well, we've got to get to the root of the problem.
So we're gonna wait another month?
Well, like I said, this is the first I've heard about it, so.
So that's the action the board wants to make, no action.
At this time, that's my vote.
And just to confirm, we are in violation of New York State regulations.
This is a personnel policy problem. It
Okay.
should be addressed in executive session.
Okay.
You want to bring it out in the public.
It's
It's a personnel problem.
what about the people who are trying to get permits and get their
We
work
should
done?
address it, call Nick in, and we'll have a special meeting if you want to. You like special meetings, we'll do that. We'll have a special meeting with him, call him and do an executive session, and we'll discuss the problem with him.
Okay. Good deal. So I guess Sandy, just for the record, I just want to say on the board, on the record, that the town's been made aware that we're in violation of New York State rules and regulations regarding code enforcement. And there's a liability here. A pretty big liability. Okay, Justice, I think there's our new update, right there.
Where is the justice report?
Yeah, how come the judge doesn't come in and give a report every month like the other judges had to do? I haven't seen him here since he got in there.
I'll bring him a message, but
He's supposed to come here and put his spiel out too.
yeah, okay. Well, just for the residents, the grant that he applied for and got is now in. There's a security camera. And there's 4 outside, or 5 out in the parking lot maybe. So,
Let the record show too, I never saw the 3 estimates, the proposals. That's all I saw was, the figures. We never received any of the proposals from the other vendors that were bidding on it.
but we did.
I saw him.
I didn't see it.
I thought they were put in there last
Yeah,
month.
we should
Yeah,
try
yeah.
to. I'm pretty
Weren't
sure.
paying attention, well,
Yeah, they were there.
whatever.
No, I didn't see it.
They were there. We stopped in the resolution and waited till he got one, and they were submitted. They're in your files. Okay. Dog control.
All day today, I was in training sponsored by New York State Ag and Markets, which just updates us on the current laws and what our responsibilities and duties are and what they aren't, which is always very enlightening. Although The term animal control officer is tossed around. It really isn't a title or a phrase that's recognized by New York State Ag Markets. It's just strictly dogs and the control of dogs, licensing of dogs, and enforcement of local law and Article 7 of Ag and Markets. The update for the rabies clinic is coming up June 13th at Central Park in Schenectady. Cats and ferrets go between 10 and 11, must be in cages, and dogs are between 11 and 12. If you have a current rabies certificate that you want updated, please bring it with you. And the rabies clinic is free to county residents. And based on a comment from a gentleman at the last meeting, he wanted some information on microchip clinics. I checked around with various agencies, organizations, and I think I have a couple of a little bit of information for you. Tractor Supply in Guilderland offers a microchip clinic once a month. I have had the information posted to the dog control page on the website for the additional information, or people can go to petvet.pawsplus.com for additional schedules, prices, and fees. There's additional things besides the microchip clinics. They have kitten packs, they have parvo, rabies, feline leukemia testing, bordetella, fecal tests, and a variety of things, but they are there once a month, and that is available at probably a lower cost than your regular veterinarian. And in addition to that, spay and neuter clinics are also available at a reduced rate. There's a list of them. It's a pretty easy list to access at gilderhaven.org. Scruff, Cat Care Coalition, and there's a couple others who provide spay and neuter, not just for dogs, but for cats as well. And this whole research has inspired me to establish not only having the information put on our page, but also a Facebook page link that I established for just general information about various townships within Schenectady County and the area, what each of the town's laws are, what the New York State laws are, reference information for lost dogs, missing dogs, found dogs, or just general information that people in this area would want to share, including the rabies clinics, any information that I have that may be useful to whomever subscribes to the page. It's out there. If you go to, on Facebook, Dog Control Info Schenectady. Although it's not a county page, it is mine, it's manned by me, and I just update stuff to it fairly often. And what I found out today is the Albany County District Attorney's Office established an app, because there's an app for that. There is an app that you can download through the App Store or through the Play Store, for which, if you do a search on NYS Animal Law, it's an app that you can have on your phone that will list all of the animal laws in New York State. It'll list all of the shelters across the state. It's kind of interesting. I didn't know that that existed until today. So it's another resource that is available to the public, whether it's here in town or anyone outside of town. Oh, and I got a call today through a network of people, but there's a gentleman who is walking from Boston to California, and he got sort of sidetracked out at the south end of town by Ketchum's. He's walking with his dog, and there was concern over the dog having maybe an injury or some lameness, so they called me because they just were concerned about the status of the dog. So I just paid a visit out there this afternoon and checked on the young man and his dog. And the dog is going to be okay, but she probably didn't need to go on a cross-country walk with her daddy. But got that contact information. We're going to follow up with him tomorrow and make sure that he gets her to the vet and gives her a little well-needed vacation. But that's it. So, okay.
Very good.
The rabies clinic at Central Park, is that at the casino?
It's at the pavilion.
The pavilion.
The pavilion. It's at the normal place that it normally is. There's a covered area by the lake. that's there.
Yeah,
But yeah,
with all the picnic tables and.
yes. But come early, because it's very well attended.
So even if your dog is within a 3-year period of the
If it's
life,
coming due, it's okay, you can bring that.
and they'll give them a booster or whatever?
It'll be good for another 3 years.
Oh.
Just bring that certificate with you, the current
Yes,
one.
okay. Thank you, Darren.
You're welcome. How's Benja? Benja's good?
Thanks, Doyle.
Okay.
Is it time for bifocals, or so is that what this is about?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Good deal. All right. We're gonna go to privileges of the floor. At every regularly scheduled town board meeting, the public have the right to address the town board. During a portion of the meeting to be referred as privileges of the floor, which shall take place after the reports of the town departments and the supervisor. Members of the public wishing to speak during privileges of the floor may sign a sheet before the commencement of the town board meeting indicating his or her name, address, and proposed topic. Signing the sheet will dictate the order in which the persons are recognized to speak and will assure the town clerk has the correct spelling of their names and addresses for the minutes. Members of the public are to restrict their comments to items of town business and are to observe proper decorum while addressing the town board. Persons who become unruly, who use inappropriate language, or persist in speaking on items not related to town business may be ruled out of order. Although there's no official time constraint, speakers may address one or more items in their comments. They should be considerate of others and try to limit their remarks to no more than 5 minutes so that all interested members of the public will have an opportunity to be heard. So I'll open up the privileges of the floor at 7:37.
Michelle Van Wert, Scotchers Road. I'm somewhat concerned about the website. The website still has the April dates of meetings. Our webmaster is not keeping the website up to date. However, a gathering of 2 town board members and the attorney and the clerk of the town was within 3 days on the YouTube video, when in fact it wasn't even a meeting. So what is our webmaster doing? Why isn't he keeping our website up to date? As of today, the meetings weren't even up there. Today's May, his meetings are still from April. And what bothered me more was his interjection of his opinion or his own doing of who cancels meetings. Since when is that anybody's business as to who cancels a meeting? Whether a meeting's canceled or not, it's canceled. You are so disrespectful, Mike. You know, really, you talk, you look at everyone else when they're talking. People up here are expecting you to pay attention.
I'm listening with,
You can look at me, that's respect.
go ahead.
So my concern is that our webmaster is not doing his job. He's still in April when in fact it's May. And we had a meeting put on the YouTube when in fact it even wasn't a meeting. So why it's up on YouTube when the public shouldn't even have any knowledge of it? That was not a meeting, it was a gathering. So those are my concerns about the webmaster and his opinion about who canceled the meeting for the planning board, which has no business being on our webpage. If it's canceled, it's canceled. Who cares who canceled it?
So you say the meetings aren't up there, what meetings, the minutes?
No,
paper copies?
our town board meeting. As of today, it still had the April meetings.
Any thought?
I sent a email to you
No,
guys.
I don't think it has
Is
anything
it on
to do
these
with this.
video?
Excuse me, it has to do with the dates of the meetings that are not correct. That's all. I wasn't talking about.
No, that's why I asked, I didn't understand your question.
No,
I do now.
No, the meeting was published on, the meeting on April 28th technically wasn't a meeting. Why was it on YouTube? when in fact it really wasn't a meeting. There shouldn't have been any meeting minutes or any meeting video on YouTube. It wasn't a meeting. And here we have a webmaster who's not even doing his job, putting on the correct dates of town board meetings, official town board meetings. And we have an unofficial meeting that's on YouTube. That's my concern.
Thank you. Additional comments? Any more comments? All right, we'll close the floor at 7:40. Town council, any updates to the action registers? Bob?
I have nothing new.
Lou?
I have nothing on that.
Joe?
No, nothing, Mike.
And Doug?
No.
All right, and neither do I. Okay. Minutes approval. It's hereby resolved, or do I have a motion? It's hereby resolved, minutes of the April 28th, 2015 special town board meeting, informational meeting are approved, and the minutes of the April 14th, 2015 town board meeting are approved.
No, the April 28th town board meeting was not a town board meeting. There wasn't 3 members present.
Right, it doesn't say town board meeting.
Special, it says special town meeting.
Yeah.
Are we insinuating a town board meeting?
I'm not insinuating anything, Lou.
Happened to be a really good meeting. There was a lot of input from the public.
It wasn't a town board meeting, no.
It doesn't say
Special
town board
meeting.
meeting.
I mean,
You want to scratch town out of there, special meeting?
Well, it wasn't a meeting for the, it wasn't a town board meeting, and that's the way it was posted, as a town board meeting. It wasn't a town board meeting. I wasn't present, and neither were 2 other councilmen.
Yep, understood. So
And
I'll talk-
I just wanna say, we, at the second Tuesday of the month, we voted, you wanted to have a meeting, and I told you I couldn't be there, Louis told you, and Bob did. I said, we voted no, and then you sent a paper, which you can do, 3 days in advance to me, and we already voted on it 2 weeks before, and you wanted to have a meeting. I had things I had to do.
Mhm.
Louis had things he had to do. And you went ahead and did, we already said no, and then you went and had a meeting. And that's your privilege, you can do that. But the part that I don't understand is how the regular town board meeting last winter couldn't come up for a month and a half, 2 months, and then all of a sudden, you had this meeting, which the town board's supposed to vote to have him here to put it on television. And you have a meeting and have him here, town board's paying for this, and we already told you 2 weeks in advance we couldn't be here. Okay?
Mhm.
Now, I wanna know how you can do this.
So there's a motion here, if you want to talk about it at councilman's concerns, that's fine, Doug.
Well, I'm just telling you the way it is. I told you I couldn't be here.
Well, actually, you didn't say that, you said you just voted no.
I voted no because I got things I have to do too. You have, when your business is there, you do your business.
So, do we have a motion for the minutes?
I'll vote for the April 14th, but not for the 28th.
Well, I'm not sure you can actually vote on it anyway.
So we can't make comments till after the motion's voted on?
Isn't that typically how we do it? But you can make comments, go ahead.
I would
Bob.
have to vote on the one meeting as well, because I wasn't here for the, so I'd have to abstain for that, but.
Mhm. Go ahead, you got comments, make them.
Well, just with all due respect, Mr. Joyce, I would just like to say, this meeting was posted 7 to 10 days prior to this meeting. I didn't get notice until Friday before the meeting. I spoke to you the next day and let you know that I had other obligations and I could not make it to that Tuesday meeting. All I would like to suggest is maybe we could have better communication before we have these meetings scheduled. Just give us a call, it takes 1 minute. Call and say, hey, can you make the next meeting Tuesday or Thursday? You know, that way it would save everybody, you know, it would save the town money as far as the ad, number one.
No, send you a voicemail or something like that.
Well, all I'm saying is I just feel like we could have better communication amongst the board, that's all.
Yep.
When it comes to
So
these meetings.
I asked in January, February to reestablish the agenda meetings, because there's work to be done. And no.
Right, I understand there's some special and some important things that we need to do. But if you're gonna call a special meeting, it would be nice if we knew ahead of time before the ad's put in the paper. And, you know, wherever else it was put. That's all I'm saying, because if I had obligations to where it was hard for me, as I told you, to be able to make it that night.
Mhm.
And I did speak to you personally, so I would just like to see better communication when it comes to these.
So why don't we just reestablish the agenda meetings and be done?
Well, because it's not necessary to have a second meeting every month. If there's issues or important things that we need to deal with.
Then I should call a special meeting.
Huh?
Then I should probably call a special meeting.
No, discuss it now, like at the town board meeting, and say, hey, we're gonna have a meeting next Tuesday. You know, can everybody make it? And, you know, we're gonna work on this, this, and that.
Mhm. All right.
That way we would know ahead of time. I'm just, like I said, with all due respect, I just think communication would be.
Yep,
I'll make a motion to approve this plan.
thank you. I'll second. Lou?
No.
No approval on the minutes?
No.
Doug?
I'll approve the 14th, but not the 28th.
They're all together though.
Should we split?
Well, there'd have to be a motion to amend to do that.
Motion to amend.
It sounds like Clay is making a motion to amend the resolution to.
That wasn't me.
minutes of April 14th.
Is that what you're doing, Doug?
I said I'd vote for the 14th, but not for the 28th.
I'll second that amendment. That's what you're doing, correct?
I voted yes for that, not for the first one.
So on the amendment, you need to take a vote.
Do we have a vote to amend the meetings minute approvals, to separate the April 28th meeting from the April 14th meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
All right. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the April 28th special meeting, informational meetings? If the minutes are approved.
I'll make it.
And I'll second. And Joe?
Yes.
Mike's a yes. Doug, you're abstaining?
Yep.
Lou, you're abstaining?
Yeah, it wasn't.
And Bob, you're abstaining? Right?
Yes.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the April 14th town board meeting?
I'll make it.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
All right. All right, we got a bunch of public hearing notifications here. So for the residents, again, there's some data up here about the E-code, codification. Town board should have gotten a notification from Chairperson Jazinski about proposed codification of county laws. So again, I just want to reiterate, we talked about it 2 weeks ago, we've been talking about it, all the work is done, we've spent the money, it's paid for, the work is ready to go, we just need, everything's been approved, everything's been reviewed.
No, it hasn't, Mike.
If I could finish, Lou, that'd be pretty good. So the 3 zoning laws are the ones that are in question. As we said, we can put the zoning laws up as is, so everybody can understand and research what everybody's been talking about for the last 6 months. They can actually read and not hear secondhand information. As far as the 3 laws go, again, Councilman Myers wasn't here. Louis voted no, Doug voted no, Joe voted yes, I voted yes. The resolution died to approve the changes as recommended by General Code for the codification of those 3 laws. And again, that was to bring them up to spec, to reformat them and make minor changes. Again, the money's spent, it's done, its work is complete. Every town has it, every state, well, not every state, I mean, that's exaggerating a bit, but and it's on here again. So there was concern that nobody uses E-code. So if the council would open up the packets, you can see that, for example, Rotterdam hits about 20,000 hits a year. That means 20,000 people are hitting the website looking for information. And then they broke down what are the top subjects that they're looking for. And then there's used by day, broken out over a week. And the same through town of Niskayuna, what the top searches are, town of Glenville, and the other communities in the county. So I'm asking the town board to let this go to public hearing.
Before we have any motion, Mike, can I say something?
Sure.
According to Association of Towns, their recommendation is that the changes be made before a public hearing.
I would like to know who told you that.
All right,
And-
hold on. Let me finish, Joe.
Okay, and otherwise, then you gotta have a public hearing for any change whatsoever is done to the zoning thereafter. Whereas their recommendation is to do it all and then do it all at one public hearing.
They,
So,
can I speak?
yep, go for it.
I mean, the allegation is that the Association of Town has spoken. Who spoke to you?
Lori Mithun.
Yeah, the attorney over there.
Lori Mithun? Okay, I would like to have the opportunity to talk with her.
Call her.
I will.
So-
I mean,
so-
anyway, go
Yeah,
ahead.
so Bob, could you restate your knowledge of what was passed on to you? Could you restate what Lori said?
That we should complete those last 3 chapters and do it complete under one public hearing, okay? Seeing we have not done those last 3 chapters. We didn't go through them word by word like we did the others.
Well, go ahead, I'll let you finish, sorry.
And so the recommendation is that those get done, and then you have a public hearing when those are complete.
Do you mind if I say something now?
Sure, go for it.
This is the only opportunity you have to have one public hearing to amend all of the laws. That's what I was told, that's what Bob was told. This is the only opportunity you had to do it, was when you do an E-code. This is the reason we want to do it. If not, you have to take each law individually and do it with a separate public hearing. We didn't go over those 3 last chapters at all. We never even reviewed them. So all we did was we got up to the other ones and we stopped. because they're so controversial. My recommendation is this, that we review, we'll have another meeting, we'll review these last 3 chapters, and here's my recommendation too. I think that we should have not only the board involved in this, maybe a couple people from the business community to sit in with us too, to discuss this and review these chapters. This is my opinion on it,
They're
and my
the most
opinion only.
important ones. The last 3 chapters are the most important.
That's the ones that are most controversial, and I think that we should do that. And then we go to a public hearing and let the people see what we've done. That's the way it's supposed to be done. And that's my opinion,
No.
and my opinion only.
Okay? Mike, may I?
Sure.
Those last 3 are the most complex laws on the books. And you want to shoot from the hip, just, oh, we're going to amend. I mean, we have a zoning review committee, a very responsible group who can help with this. I don't think this town board is qualified to sit down and amend these 3 very complex laws just in a meeting. And I don't think Lori Miffin at the Association of Towns understood exactly what's, going on. Because this is not about, we have a process for changing, amending our laws. And yeah, doing them when you're talking about just making changes that are formatting, that's one thing. But when you're looking at laws that are as complex as our zoning, subdivision, no, this is more than just formatting. These are substantive, you're talking about substantive changes, and that should be addressed by due process, individually with public hearings and everything. And so it seems to me that our law, which stands today and has stood since 2006, just adopt it the way it is, and then we can address it. And that's our job to do that. That's my opinion.
So Bob, when you talked to Lori, you told her that, General Code had made the formatting changes only. These weren't substantial or substantive changes.
No, I didn't go into all that detail.
Well, detail is pretty important, Bob.
Well, let's ask our
But I
attorney.
wasn't going to question an attorney. I'm not.
Let's ask our attorney. When can we change the laws, Mike?
When can you change the law?
Can we do this all at once, at one public hearing? Was she right when she said this?
You can, just, you can, if you had all of the, various collection of local laws that we have in a format that everybody wanted, you could do it all at once. With zoning, there's, particular law that's supposed to be followed, and that is when you do a comprehensive plan, that all of your zoning amendments then are supposed to be consistent with the comprehensive plan, and the way that you try to ensure that is by appointing a zoning review committee and having them review the zoning law and make their recommendations to the town board, and then the town board generally acts on those recommended changes to the zoning law. Most of the other laws don't have specific provisions in law that dictate how they're supposed to be amended.
So we've been 18 months since we passed, more than that, right? December 12th, when we passed the E-code. So we're into our 3rd year. It was actually only supposed to be, when I looked at the contract again, I think you guys have copies of the contract, because I asked Sandy to run some copies. We only had like a year to do this but they extended it and said, you know, we'll give you 18 months. And this is to make formatting changes only, not substantive changes. Not town directing changes to change the community. We have, and you guys want to work on it, I can't get you to attend meetings. And we're gonna set a schedule for. We spent a lot of money on it, and a lot of people spent a lot of time on this.
I just gotta say.
So can I finish, Doug? Did you have?
Go ahead.
anything? Thank you, sir. You know, we have 3 laws on the agenda tonight. 3 sections, just tiny sections to talk about just tonight. And these are substantial. These are pretty, you know, pretty important changes. And how long, Bob, do you think it'll take us to go through and make just formatting changes in those laws?
Like,
Not
we could have had
substantive.
this done last year if we would have worked on it, but you didn't want to continue.
Bob, don't say that. That's way out of line, because that's not true. I've sat here and read 2 chapters, word by word.
Why did we stop with those last 3 chapters then?
I think you guys put a motion on the table in December to stop agenda meetings.
Oh,
Is that what you did?
come on.
I'm not going to go on further.
Yeah, I guess not. So, let's take a vote.
Take your vote.
Because I can't see why. The work is done. And this is gonna die, and it's never gonna come back. That's what's gonna happen.
No, it's not, because we're gonna review the next 3 chapters.
When?
Let's set a meeting.
After I talk with Lori Mithun to get the straight
Oh,
skinny.
after you talk to her, go ahead. I say we set the meeting.
We're gonna do all 3 in one meeting?
We can start
If we-
working on
we
it,
can
we'll take
start
one
it.
chapter at a time.
All right, so
You
what
did
about,
29 chapters, and then the last 3 you don't want to do. I don't
so
understand.
Doug, that's not what I said. So don't go twisting my words, please. What I said, and those were formatting changes. They weren't.
Not all of them were formatting
Okay.
changes.
Yeah,
We
they
changed
were.
some of them, yes, we did.
Like what?
Yeah, like what?
We've changed other things.
Like
but
what?
They
No,
weren't
no.
all formatting
Like what?
changes. I don't remember them all at the time.
Right.
But so then don't say it.
But you
Because-
passed them. You passed them. You approved them and passed them.
Right, 29 chapters, I'll vote for that, but not for the last 3. You could put your E-code up there and make it whatever you want, put it in the cloud. I'll go for the 29 that you did, the last 3 you didn't do, I'm not voting for it. We already
They're
proved,
on the books, Doug.
we already proved 29.
I know.
All right, all
But
right, all right. This is,
these laws,
go.
I'll
It's
go
not gonna
for
go
that,
anywhere.
but I'm not gonna approve the last 3. And you can say whatever you want, that's my opinion. Okay? Do what you wanna do.
I'll
Why,
make a
why
motion.
is it you don't wanna do the last 3? What's that, the most important part? And it is the most important part.
so.
Let's take a vote.
So we referred them to the ZRC, they approved it. We referred them to the planning board, they approved it. The changes you
So
guys,
because they proved it means I'm gonna?
I know that's not gonna,
that should affect your reasoning.
Well, my reasoning is, I've lived here 66 years, and I'm the only one on this town board right now that's lived in the town 66 years, and there is no other, there's one person that's on any kind of board in this secretary, planning board, anything. There's one person that's got more time on me, knowing this town. And who is that? Who, you're supposed to know.
I mean,
Who
I
is
don't
it?
care.
I know,
What
you
does
don't care.
longevity have to do
What do you
with
mean you
knowing
don't
what the
care?
right thing to
I've
do
lived in
is?
this town. My farm is, I'm the 4th generation.
So what?
My son's
okay,
the
okay,
5th, and my
okay,
grandson's the
okay,
6th.
okay.
Who's the one person? You can't even name her.
Okay, let's take a vote. We've
And
got a
she's
lot
a
of work to cover.
secretary in the town, she's got 4 jobs here. And you don't even know it.
Secretary in town has 4 jobs.
Who is that? Tell me, Mike.
I don't know. Go ahead.
You don't know who it is? Who's your secretary?
I don't have one. I have a bookkeeper.
Okay.
All right.
Say whatever name you want to say.
Do we have a motion?
Isla is the only one in the town of Princetown right here that knows she's 4 years older than I am. Okay? That's been in this town, working for this town.
So Doug, you know, and we'll go to vote here. You know, we're supposed to
Go ahead.
be trying to move the town forward.
Yeah, I'm moving it forward. I
That's what
want to
we
bring
wanna
it back
do.
to the
Right.
old days.
That's right.
Right.
And you know what? It was Blessings, Ferguson's, Giffords, Venorts in the north end, Greg's, the whole bunch around here. And you know what? There was never the problems we got right now. I don't understand.
All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Whereas the town of Princetown has entered into a project with general code at a cost of $15,000 for the codification of local laws, ordinances, and certain resolutions of the town of Princetown for the purpose of increasing the effectiveness of town government administration, providing greater public awareness of and access to town legislation, and protecting the health, safety, and welfare of the town inhabitants. And whereas the proposed codification has been published in loosely form, and the town board now desires to formally effect the adoption of said codification by enactment of local law. Now therefore be resolved that a public hearing shall be held by the town board of the town of Princetown with respect to the following local law. Such public hearing to be held on the 8th day of June 2015 at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as practical at the Princetown Town Hall, 165 Princetown Plaza, New York. Proposed local law to be considered as local law 1, right? I think, Mike?
This would be one, it's only proposed, you don't number the law.
Right. The local law provides for the codification of local laws, ordinances, and certain resolutions of the town of Princetown into the municipal code to be designated as Code of the Town of Princetown. Copies of the text above named local law shall be filed at the office of the town clerk. And be it therefore resolved that the town clerk is hereby directed and authorized to cause public notice of said hearing to be given in accordance with the municipal home rule law, the open meetings law, and the town law of the state of New York. Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
I'll second. Mr. Esposito?
No.
Mr. Gray?
No.
Joe?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
No.
And Joyce is a yes. Resolution failed.
I'd like to make a motion that we review the last 3 chapters.
I'll second that.
Motion's on the floor.
Sure.
You want to call a vote? Or you want Sandy? She's the one who's supposed to be calling it.
What's the resolution?
That we review the last 3 chapters of E-code.
Well, it's not E-code.
The last 3 chapters of the zoning, and the zoning.
And what do you mean by review?
Review and update them.
And what does update mean?
If we have-
Substantive changes,
If we have to change anything in
Like
there.
you
it's
did
not
the
agreeing
last
upon.
29 chapters.
which were all formatting, non-substantive issues.
I would also like to propose that there's more than just a town board involved in it, maybe some business, some people in the business community, maybe 1 or 2, or whatever anybody else wants to have on it. Sit down and discuss these last 3 chapters since they're the most important.
How about the zoning review committee?
Fine.
Sure.
That's fine.
I want to talk with Lori
It's
Middleton first.
The motion's on the floor, you can talk to her all you want. Motion's on the floor.
You're going to strong arm it right past.
No, I just
It's
said the
gonna be
motion is on the
reasonable.
floor, it has to be acted on, Joe. The motion has
Why?
been presented.
Did you say so?
Joe,
I second
Come
that.
on.
Joe, let it go.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'll second it.
I did, I just
Oh,
did.
sorry. Well, then, who made the first move? Or,
I made the
He
motion.
made the motion, I seconded it.
okay.
Sandy, you wanna read the roll?
Sure. Councilman Esposito,
Yes.
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Jazinski?
Councilman Jazinski,
No.
Councilman Myers,
Yes.
Supervisor Joyce.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that brings into a good question here. We have the Hamlet District, we have the Hamlet District, and Boswell zoning amendments. We table them?
No.
No.
Why do we have to table that?
I thought you wanted to review the 3 zoning laws.
Well, that's got nothing to do with that.
It's the zoning law amendments. They're zoning laws, Lou.
Mike, can we act on these other two? Let's ask the attorney.
Well, these are resolutions calling for a public hearing, but you would be amending the zoning law.
Okay.
So we're shotgunning it?
But you don't, these resolutions would set it for June 8th public hearing. You couldn't act on these amendments until that time.
So we're gonna review the laws, but we're gonna push these through today.
We're gonna have a public hearing for these two.
So don't we wanna do the whole chapter, or we're just gonna do pieces of it?
Mike,
I'm asking you, Lou.
no, I'm not gonna talk, I'm talking to Mike Wade, this is
You
our
say that.
attorney. Can we do this?
You can do it.
Okay.
You know, the two questions I think the supervisor is asking are these pieces of the zoning law? Yes. Can you do it separately? Yes, you can.
Okay, that's all we have to know.
So how come we can do that, but we can't do the changes in the chapter?
Well,
These are
you
changes.
can amend the zoning law as many times as you want. Each time you do it, though, you're gonna have to go through the process.
I
It's a
understand
local
that.
law, how you adopt it, so you have to go through the local law process.
But I'm saying, if we make these changes to the zoning law,
Right.
okay, which is okay,
Right.
why can't we take, when we go through these last three chapters, make changes and then put it forth for a public hearing on that? If we're gonna
We
make
can.
changes to the zoning now.
We can.
We can.
That's what we've been pushing for. What's the big deal? Okay, I rest my case, then let's do it.
So do we wanna review the Hamlet District? Are we just gonna vote on it, or?
Well, you gotta have a public hearing on it.
Well, I was asking if the board wanted to review it. Have you read it yet? Or-
Well, read it.
Do I have a motion? Whereas the local law to amend Article 4 of the zoning law of the town of Princetown to add a special purpose district, HA Hamlet District, in the Route 20 Gateway to the town is being proposed as local law entitled A Local Law Amending Article 6 of the town of Princetown's zoning law to add a special purpose district to be known as the Hamlet H20 District, and amending section 3.2 to add certain definitions, a copy of which is attached here too, and was introduced at this meeting by a member of the town board of the town of Princetown. Whereas the town board wishes to hold a public hearing with respect to the adoption of said local law, now therefore be resolved that a public hearing shall be held by the town board of the town of Princetown with respect to the adoption of aforesaid local law at 7 p.m. on June 8th, 2015 at Princetown Town Hall, 165 Princetown Plaza, Princetown, New York, and is therefore resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized to direct and directed to cause public notice of said hearing to be given as provided by law. And it is further resolved, the town clerk shall immediately send referral notices to the County of Schenectady Department of Economic Development and Planning pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 239-M, with a copy of the proposed local law and a request for comment. It is further resolved that the town clerk immediately mail notice of the public hearing with a copy of the proposed local law to the town clerks of the towns of Guilderland, and it is therefore resolved that the town clerk, on behalf of the town board, shall refer this matter by transmitting a copy of this resolution, along with a copy of the proposed local law to the town of Princetown Planning Board for review, recommendation, and report. Do I have a motion?
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
what happened with Route 7?
It's the next one.
This is for the public hearing, I'll make the motion.
A second.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. Trzynski.
Yep.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
And Joyce is yes. Hamlet District H7 zoning law amendment. We have a motion, whereas a local law to amend Article 6 of the zoning law of the town of Princetown to add a special purpose district, HA Hamlet District, in the Route 20 gateway to the town is being proposed as local law entitled a local law amending Article 6 of the town of Princetown zoning law to add a new special purpose district to be known as the Hamlet H7.
Typo there, 'cause that's, no, that's right. Sorry.
That does say Route 20 and H7.
So it can't be.
H7 and H20. Or Route 20 and H7.
Oh, so it should be Route 7.
Route 7.
All right, so I'm gonna start again.
With the correct name, you want to read the whole thing.
So I'm only into one sentence, so let's start again. Whereas the local law to amend Article 6 of the zoning law of the town of Princetown to add a new special purpose district, HA Hamlet District, in the Route 7 gateway to the town is being proposed as local law number to be determined 2015, entitled Local Law Amending Article 6 of the town of Princetown zoning law to add a new special purpose district to be known as the Hamlet H7 District, and amending sections 3.2 to add certain definitions, a copy which is attached hereto was introduced at this meeting by a member of the town board of the town of Princetown, and whereas the town board wishes to hold a public hearing with respect to the adoption of said local law. Now therefore be resolved that a public hearing be held by the town board of the town of Princetown with respect to the adoption of aforesaid local law at 7 p.m. on June 8th,
Can that be
2015.
9th, June 9th, Tuesday? June 8th is a Monday.
It is. On June 9th, 2015, at Princetown Town Hall, 165 Princetown Plaza, Princetown, New York, and is therefore, and is further resolved, the town board is hereby authorized and directed to cause public notice of said hearing to be given as provided by law, and is further resolved that the town clerk shall immediately send a referral notice to the County of Schenectady Department of Economic Development and Planning pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 239M, with a copy of proposed local law and a request for comment. And it's further resolved that the town clerk immediately mail notice of the public hearing together with a copy of the proposed local law to the town clerks of the town of Rotterdam. And it is further resolved that the town clerk, on behalf of the town board, shall refer this matter by transmitting a copy of this resolution along with a copy of the proposed local law to the town of Princetown Planning Board for review, recommendation, and report. Do I have a motion?
So
Can I ask a question first? Mike, can we, after this public hearing, do we take a vote on it that night?
You can. That's the earliest that you can do it. Some town boards prefer to wait and, think about it, but you can do it at that meeting.
Do we need to wait for feedback from the planning board and the
Well,
county?
that's, if you get their feedback before then, the only one that is sometimes a problem is the county. But as long as they get their comments back, because they are supposed to have 30 days. So it's close for them.
So we can vote that night?
Yeah, as long as we have the county comments back.
As long as what, Mike?
We have the county's comments back.
Do I have a motion?
So
Bob, how are you?
Bob was first, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. Jazinski.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Joyce is yes. Bob Paul zoning law amendment. Whereas a local law to amend section 6.5A of the zoning law of the town of Princetown to add a new paragraph 7, warehousing and storage in the commercial district C1 is being proposed as local law to be determined, 2015, entitled a local law amending section 6.5A of the town of Princetown zoning a local law amending section 6.5A of the town of Princetown zoning law to permit warehousing and storage uses subject to site plan review in C1 zone districts. A copy of which is attached hereto was introduced at this meeting by a member of the town board of the town of Princetown, and whereas the town board wishes to hold a public hearing with respect to the adoption of said local law, now therefore be resolved that a public hearing shall be held by the town of Princetown. Public hearing shall be held by the town board of the town of Princetown with respect to the adoption of aforesaid local law at 7 p.m. on June 9th, 2015 at Princetown Town Hall, 165 Princetown Plaza, New York, and therefore, it is further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to cause public notice of said hearing to be given as provided by law, and is further resolved the town clerk shall immediately send a referral notice to the County of Schenectady Department of Economic Development and Planning pursuant to the General Municipal Law, Section 239M, with a copy of the proposed local law and a request for comment, and it is further resolved the town clerk immediately email notice of the public hearing together with a copy of the proposed local law to the town clerks of the town of Rotterdam. And it is further resolved that the town clerk, on behalf of the town board, shall refer this matter by transmitting a copy of this resolution, along with a copy of the proposed local law, to the town of Princetown Planning Board for review, recommendation, and report. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Let me ask Mike, does this meet what the planning board had said they approved?
Well, exactly what the planning board approved wasn't clear, but we know what Mr. Hall's intent was, and it appears what the planning board's intent was to allow him to have the warehousing and storage use on his property without the requirement of a special use permit. So this accomplishes that in perhaps the simplest and most concise way. Since he's in a C1 district already, you, by adding the warehousing and storage use as of right to that district, you don't get to be accused of spot zoning, and which, you know, if you convert it to an I, just that one parcel to an I district, you would have. It's, since you already had it in a C2, it's fairly consistent with the other commercial district. So overall, it seems to accomplish what you want to do with a text change rather than a zoning map change and all that goes with that. So I guess that's, I think we're accomplishing what everybody sought to do in the first place.
So we're just making a text change instead of the...
Yeah, so that right now, under the permitted uses in the C1 district, we have 1 through 6. And if you but what we don't have there is any warehousing and storage that there's listed as a special use in a C2. You know, warehousing and storage, even though you have in the C1 retail establishments, things like farm operations, you still don't have warehousing and storage that might be incidental to those kinds of uses. So, arguably, even when under 6, we have any use listed under Article 6.1b, you get close to having something like warehousing and storage, but not quite there. So it's probably the simplest fix.
Okay, so then it's legit doing a text change.
Oh, yeah, you can always add to the permitted uses, we still have to go through this
Public hearing.
process.
So this accomplishes what you're telling us. Okay,
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. Jazinski.
Yep.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
And Joyce is yes. Town of Princetown Records Management Policy. Where the Town of Princetown Records Advisory Board, the town's record management officer, the past town planner, and the town's legal attorney, with the assistance of Larry Coolin, has updated proposed Princetown Records Management Policy to more closely align with New York State requirements on records development, storage, access, destruction, and overall management. The records management policy reflects the requirements for both paper and electronic records as recommended by New York State. Now therefore be resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Princetown hereby adopts the proposed records management policy for immediate implementation. It's a policy, it's not a law. And I forgot to insert the roll call.
We haven't even reviewed that, Mike. I don't know how we can vote to approve it.
So I hate to go back and belabor the meetings stuff again, but this is why we're trying to set up meetings. There's work to do. But I'm in agreement with you, Lou, but, all I'm asking from the board is make a commitment to these agenda meetings so we can do some work.
We don't have to have the agenda meeting all the time. You want to have a special meeting to do this, we can.
Lou, I'm not gonna debate it again. I mean, it's May, it's June, we have 1 month in June, and then typically we don't have agenda meetings in the summer. to try to
We
get
had them all
people-
last summer.
Okay, well, all right, you're right, you're always right.
Yeah,
So,
about that.
yeah, I understand. So, do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Second is me. Mr. Esposito,
No?
Mr. Gray,
No.
Mr. Joe,
Yes.
Mr. Myers,
No.
and Joyce is yes. Town Board agenda meetings. Be resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Princetown shall meet the fourth Tuesday each month at 7 p.m. starting at April 28th, of the May 26th. 2015, these meetings on the fourth Tuesday will be agenda and/or informational workshops as required. No agenda meetings will be held during the months of June, July, and August. Town Clerk Sandy Fortune to publish notice in the Gazette as required. Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
I'll second. Lou?
No.
Doug?
No.
Joe?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
No.
And I'm gonna vote yes. All right. 2015-2016 County Highway Agreement, where the Town of Princetown typically contracts the control of snow and ice and other repairs and maintenance services of the County of Schenectady Department of Engineering and Public Works on a yearly basis. Therefore, it is resolved that upon review and approval of the town supervisor and the town attorney, the town board approves that supervisor enter into the agreement for the County of Schenectady for a yearly contract for a term of July 1st to 2015 through ending on June 30th, 2016.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I got Lou, Sandy.
for a second.
Yeah, Doug, Lou. So, Lou,
Yes.
Doug,
Yeah.
Joe,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
and Joyce, yes. General funds claims. So there was a clerical error, so just to explain this, folks, we paid Overlook Lane, I'm sure everybody knows where it is. We pay a private person to come in and plow it, so that's the only road in the town that we don't ask the county to plow. So we have a private contractor come in and take care of it during the winter. We submitted his bill, and in error, we paid it out of the general fund instead of the highway fund. So this resolution and the following one is to amend that error and pay the bill out of the highway funds where it's supposed to be. Do I have a motion? It's hereby resolved that due to a clerical error in paying a snow plowing bill from the general fund account instead of from the highway funds, the following actions are required. Therefore be resolved, the town board voids claim 84 in the amount of $1,690 and approves the change to abstract number 4 from a total of $26,933.37 to read the amended amount of $25,243.37.
What road is this against Bob, privately?
Overlook Lane.
Overlook, okay.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Second.
Lou? Doug?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Mike's yes. General fund claims, abstract number 5. It's hereby resolved the town board approves claims 85 to claims 115 in the amount of $20,262.11. Again, folks, if you're interested, I hope you are, the claims are on the back for review, so you know exactly where we're spending our money. Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Second?
Second.
Lou?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Myers? Sorry,
Yes.
Bob. Sorry.
Yes.
Joyce, yes. Highway claims 2015. So folks, this is where we're gonna pay that highway bill. Do I have a motion? It's hereby resolved, the town board approves claims number 1 in the amount of $1,690 for the 2015 Overlook Lane snow removal and winter road maintenance repairs.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Mr. Lou?
Yes.
Mr. Doug?
Yes.
Mr. Joe?
Yes.
Mr. Bob?
Yes.
And Mike is a yes. Highway transfer, same money, folks. Do I have a motion? It's hereby resolved, the town board approves a transfer of $1,690 from account number 99019 to account 5031 for the 2015 Overlook Lane snow removal and winter road maintenance repairs.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
Lou seconds. Mr. Lou?
Yes.
Mr. Doug?
Yes.
Mr. Joe?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. Joyce, yes. Water funds claim. It's hereby resolved, the town board approves claims 40 to claims 50 in the amount of $9,082.19.
I'll make the motion.
Yep, sorry. Lost it there. Second?
So moved. Yes.
Mr. Lou?
Yes.
Mr. Doug?
Yes.
Mr. Joe?
Yes.
Mr. Bob?
Yes.
And Joyce, yes. That's it for business, folks. We'll open up for privileges of the floor again at 8:34.
Just a couple quick things. Just as a point of clarification, when Joe, or Mike, you gave the report for the justice.
Hey, guys.
And you were referring to the cameras that were installed. There was some question as to whether it was grant money or if it was regular money. I don't believe the comptroller's office makes that distinction. When we're issuing the check, it doesn't matter where the funds are coming from. We still need to follow that purchasing policy, which I understand we did, but I just wanted to make that point clear. And the other question I had to do with the meeting on April 28th. The agenda that was on the website says a town board meeting. There was the meeting schedule said it was a town board meeting, but the minutes don't say it's a town board meeting. What kind of meeting was it? Was it a zoning review committee? Because if it's not a town board meeting, I don't understand why it was being presented before the board for approval. I guess that's really my question. And that was all I had.
Thank you. Additional privileges.
First, proposal that you made or for the hearing, that should be changed to the 9th also.
You're right.
Now you'll be here 2 nights.
In the summertime too, or almost summer.
It's a typographical error, just correct that.
Are you okay? Is everybody okay with that, or do I need to rewrite this again? Doug, you okay with that?
What's that?
Just changing the
Yeah.
9th?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just one more question. On the hits that were referenced in the handout of the E-code to other towns, one, how did that data become available? And since we have our E-code up on our website, how many hits have actually been noted for the town of Princetown?
Well, I don't think our E-code's on our website.
The draft is.
The draft laws maybe, but
Right.
E-code's not there.
The actual document isn't there.
So,
No,
They
I'm
do.
asking, is the actual document there?
General code in Rochester has a routine, a computer routine called E-code 360.
Right.
And that's what they use to generate the data for Rotterdam, Niskayuna, Princetown, the city, Waynesburg. And Princetown, we're not up there yet.
so
So
what?
that's why we don't have any.
So there's, yeah, and just to clarify, so I think not a paper copy, but a copy of the proposed laws are on there.
Right.
So they're in paper copy,
Uh-huh.
but not in general code. So
Okay.
you couldn't go into this document and say, search on pools, like you would Google or something
Okay.
like that. So E-code has a search engine in it also.
Okay, thank you.
Additional comments? Okay, we'll close it at 8:43. Councilman concerns? We'll start with Mr. Gray.
I already spoke my piece.
And Mr. Joe.
I don't have anything formally prepared, but I would like to voice my concern about ramming through the review of 3 of the most complex laws we have on the books in a town board meeting. And that's all I'll say. That's my concern.
Anything for Joe? Town board.
Just, I don't understand totally what you're saying, Joe. If that was the case, then we could have, why didn't we just take those other 23 or 27 chapters and keep them the way they were and just?
We could have.
You could have.
But the General Code Company did an editorial and legal review of the whole batch of laws that we have. And they made recommendations. We're gonna make the numbers of the laws different to comply with general standards that the state does. And so it's formatting. They're not changing the laws. But then they said, okay, little things like code enforcement officer needs to be capitalized. And those were the kinds of changes that we made in those 29 chapters. That we didn't change the substance at all. The last three are so complex
That
that
complex to make those types of changes?
if that's what it was limited to, that's then fine.
So.
But anyway,
No, so I think general code makes formatting and graphical changes. They do not make changes, that are, that change the direction of the proposed law. Again, it's formatting, that so you can reference, one law, one chapter has to reference a chapter 27, it aligns that, so when that reference is made, it aligns correctly. And also, E-code goes back, because a couple of our laws were, from, before 2000, for example, and they were old or, antiquated, and may or may not have applied, so general code made the recommendation saying, this is what we think, these new ones may not apply anymore, you may want to consider them, getting rid of them or changing them. And in the case of mining, for example, mining is now controlled by the state, so there was no reason for Princetown to have a mining chapter in our code. So, general code agreed to, or said, you can probably get rid of it, you don't need it, because all mining is controlled by the state, we have no say in it. So again,
can I also add, Mike?
Sure.
That what we did in those first 20 was to take out fees that were in the laws, and we created a fee schedule. So we basically reformatted the way that we control the fees, rather than have, like for a building permit, have that in the law itself. We remove it from the law and put it on a fee schedule that the town board would then, at the organizational meeting, make adjustments to. So
Okay,
in
but that's
one fell-
another thing that we haven't done. We talked about doing a fee schedule, but that has not been done. And that's why it
That's,
concerns.
we haven't adopted the E-code yet, that's why.
Well, no, but I mean, we haven't gotten, I just feel like we're getting the cart before the horse on all of this.
For what?
With this E-code. I mean, we were supposed to set fees, we haven't done that. We didn't go through the last.
Yes, we have. We've extracted them from the laws and put them on a fee schedule, if we go ahead with adopting the code.
I didn't have anything to do with that.
We all agreed to it, Bob.
We haven't done it yet. I haven't seen it.
Oh, my God. Okay.
This has been one of my concerns, because we were gonna work on fees, and we haven't done anything on fees yet.
Doug, you were, well, anyway.
yeah.
I went to Dwaynesburg and got
Yeah, I know.
Dwaynesburg's stuff and brought it down here, and it didn't compare to nothing with the town of Princetown.
Yeah.
And I never heard anything about being anything changed. Go get a building permit for my pole barn was,
$3,500.
yeah. Okay?
Extravagant. Way out of line.
Yeah.
And you go to Dwaynesburg and I could have had it for 500.
So we'll go back and look, but I'm pretty sure there's a resolution.
I'm just saying, I think that there's things that we,
I just want to say, Bob, I'm pretty sure there's a resolution where
Yeah.
we'll double check it.
maybe that was the meeting I wasn't here.
May have been, could have been.
I don't remember it either, so.
Wow,
maybe
you
I'm
were part of
losing
the
it, too.
discussion, Doug.
So
You were
Sandy,
having it.
Sandy, can we take the action that maybe look it up? And then, guys.
As far as I'm concerned, it never got changed, because you're still paying the same thing for the building permit, and I wouldn't have went for it, I know that, so.
Anything else, Joe?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Lou?
We got a leak in the boiler room. The water line is leaking coming in. It's been leaking, dripping. It's got a drain in it that's been draining the water off. It was a minor problem before. Now it's getting to be a major problem. I just asked George to take a look at it because of the, I thought maybe it was part of the water district to replace it, but it's not. It's part of the town's property, so we're gonna have to replace it, and he's informed me that that valve is probably gonna cost upwards to $1,000 to replace it. It's a major line coming in.
What kind of a valve is it?
It's the pressure valve coming in. It's about yay big and like this, and I can show it to you if you'd like to see it. And it's starting to drip pretty good. It's got a drain in it where it goes down into the drain, but when they put it in, when it was originally put in, they left it too far away from the drain, so now it's starting to get onto the floor, and it definitely has to be replaced with.
It's a pressure reducing valve?
Yes, and it's got a, I'll show it to you if you want to see it. And George told me that that valve could cost up, he says the valves that he's replaced on the pump house have cost him $300 to $400. He's estimating that it's an 1.5-inch valve. It could cost up to that, I don't know. I haven't priced it out yet, but my question is to the town board, can I just go replace this? Do I need, or do I take a chance of waiting until it goes completely and doing this? I don't wanna, if we have to go out and get 3 estimates and then it ruptures in the next week or so, and we have to have another town board meeting.
This is for a boiler?
No, it's the whole water system coming into the
Oh,
building.
oh.
It's not just a boiler. That was replaced last year, that pressure valve.
I don't think we ought to take the chance on it bursting. That would be more.
I'll ask
costly
our
than-
attorney, what do you think, Mike? Is it an emergency? Is it,
I don't know that any of us are really qualified
Yeah.
to determine just how
I mean,
much
what kind of
danger
pressure?
it is, right?
Does it reduce
well,
to? From
it's, according to George, there's 90 pounds coming in. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't
On a
know.
1.5-inch valve?
That's what he said.
It's
I
not
can
a
only,
lot of pressure.
I can only tell you what he said.
Yeah.
So,
The water
but if it-
pressure coming in the building is the same as it is outside the building.
And that's what he said, so he told me that it's expensive to replace it. They didn't put any couplings in there or unions in.
Don't they have any shut-offs upstream?
They have the shut-offs, they have 2 shut-offs to do it, but they're gonna have to cut the pipes to replace this. They didn't design it, they didn't put it in to be easily replaced, let's put it that way. If you wanna go in and look at it, I'll go take anybody who wants to go in and look at it, and they can see it.
So maybe a suggestion, if we can bring in, maybe even Doug Cole, but if not, just bring in, some plumbers, and if there's other work we can do, preventive maintenance, Lou, maybe now is a good time, as long as we're gonna take that apart, and we shut the boiler down, maybe we can do,
We just had that done. I mean, they just serviced that last year with, they replaced the pressure valve on that, and they replaced a couple other things. The blow-off valve was replaced.
so,
It's really just, that was starting to drip last year, but it wasn't concerned then, but now it is. It's starting to get to the point where it should be replaced, and I just wanted to run it by the board because I don't wanna go out and do this. And do you think I have to get 3 estimates for it, or do you want me to just go ahead and replace it?
I think 3 estimates would be fair. I mean,
Okay, so then we're gonna have to wait another month. It may, I'm sure it'll probably, may not, I don't know.
have a special board meeting.
Well, we're gonna have one anyway for the E-code.
Okay.
That's all I got on this building. I did wanna bring up, I brought up over here that, about spraying for the weeds around here again. I'd like to do that. Joe asked for a copy of it, I gave it to him. I don't know if he looked at it, I'd like the board's opinion on it. If it's okay to go ahead and do it, I'll call the guy up and have him come over and do it. Fertilizer, he'll fertilize and spray for the weeds.
pretty toxic stuff. If anything. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different types.
Disclaimers.
Pardon me?
They're disclaimers, right? Isn't that what you call a disclaimer, what they say?
Well, they
possible?
identify the
Yeah.
dimension .10 plus fertilizer, Ranger Pro, Talsteru, whatever.
So I'd make a suggestion that maybe we should get a price on the furnace first. So if it's excessive, then maybe we should trade that for the fertilizer.
Well, fertilizer's $100.
Just a suggestion. Do we need fertilizer? I mean, the grass looks good out there the way it is.
Well,
I was here for the Earth Day.
I'd like to do it, we did it last year. If we do it this time of the year, you can eradicate the crabgrass coming in. This is the time of the year to do it. I think that we should do it and get the grounds to look like something. They were starting to look like something last year, and I think that we should do it. We have to do it over for the state police building. They asked if we could spray for their weeds in the back along with blacktop. They wanted that done. And I guess we agreed on that. So I don't know what the difference between that building is over there and this one over here.
Well, it's public, is that, that's this.
Well, the public is over there too. It's state police.
Yeah, well. I personally think we don't need it. That it's a country lawn, like Terry Dabbs calls it, and it looks good. We mow it, we keep it trimmed. And I just don't think we need to put down this toxic stuff. Anyway, that's my opinion.
What do you think, Doug?
I'm for spraying it. The lawn looked like shit before, now all of a sudden it looks good. I should have said that.
Take it back.
I apologize. I thought last year the lawn looked really good. Before it was all brown and full of weeds.
We did have a sprinkler system in the ground over here and it's been ruined. Well, I'd like to do it, so that's your opinion. What do you think, Bob?
Either way, I think that if it was done at nighttime on the weekend, I don't think it would matter to anybody, but
Well, I'd like to do it, so. And Tony, it's roughly $100, maybe 125. That's what it was last year, so.
So per application?
Yeah, we're only doing one. He recommends two, but I don't think we need to.
We had the cleanup day and I was looking around the gazebo over there and the weeds were in there about this tall that never even got cut out this year. Around the gazebo, your dog was in there running with her ball, his ball.
Yes or no?
do we need a motion?
Do we need a motion for this?
Well, it's a matter of town policy, whether you're gonna, use
Spend time.
herbicides and fertilizer, I guess. We should do it by motion and be clear this way.
Well, then I'll make a motion that we do it.
I'll second it.
What's the cost?
It's about $100, $125. I think it was $125 maybe last year. I'm not sure. Sandy, do you remember what it was?
No.
It'll be done when?
Probably this week. I can tell them this weekend. If you want it done on the weekend, there's nobody here Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so Sunday. It only lasts 24 hours anyway, that you're supposed to be,
I think it would be good if we could do it when it's not a lot of traffic around.
Are there any vendors at the town hall for the garage sale this weekend?
pardon?
Or will there be any vendors, anybody setting up at the town hall for garage sale this weekend? Because that's this weekend, that will be the link.
No.
No? Okay,
No.
so that was just a concern.
Well, the motion's on the floor, then I made it.
Second?
I second it.
Doug?
Yes.
Joe?
I'll thank Lou for providing this, as I asked
Pleasure,
for,
Joe.
but I vote against it.
Lou?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
I vote no, and my reason is I would like to have seen what the cost of the boiler would have been.
The water system.
Pardon me. What else we got?
The state police building, they do not want VCT tiles put in those offices. They want carpeting put in. I got an estimate coming from town decorator. They were over and measured it up. The reason they don't want VCT tiles is, I mentioned it to Mike, is they like when they're doing interviews and the investigators' rooms and the sergeant's room, they say it's quieter, so they would like carpeting as opposed to the VCT tiles.
What is the
It's the
DTC?
square tiles.
Linoleum?
Yeah, no, it's just squares, you know, the foot by foot squares. Rather than doing that, they'd rather have carpeting, which is cheaper, so. That's the only thing that they mentioned to me. I just wanted to bring that up.
So, on the state police, Pat, and I'll run off copies of this, so Pat's gotten contracts for siding, contract on the roofing, or estimate, sorry. The 2 overhead doors, 1 hollow, 1 insulated, 2 commercial motors, heavy duty and medium. Painting, the sergeant's office, conference room, there's all the rooms in there. Stockade fence.
We already did all the rooms in there.
So when we walk through, they're asking for it to be painted again.
I don't remember them asking to be painted again. They never asked to, we just did it 2 years ago.
The reason being was that as they went through it, this was going to be a 5-year deal.
Right.
Some of the rooms might not be done for another 3 or 4 years at that time. They would probably need to be repainted.
We're supposed to be building the budgetary capital plan to include in the lease. This is why we were trying to get all these quotes together so we can use them as a basis to build our lease for 5 years. And I know you sent me a couple more things today. I didn't get to print them off. So I'll print them off. And I think that's what we were trying to do, Louis, right? Was put together a capital investment or a capital program to include into the state police barracks so we can show, you know, this is what we tend to spend over the next 5 years. You guys can kind of pick and choose, but, you know, up to the limit. That's what we were trying to do. You talked about maybe getting a discount on some roof shingles?
It'd be around $4 a square less than what the guy quoted it to me. It'd be about $75 a square.
So we have a chance to get.
For an architectural shingle.
For an architectural shingle. So I will update this. I'll double check it against this list. But actually, this is your piece of the meeting. I didn't mean to interrupt, so go ahead.
No, that's all I had is with that.
All right. Bob?
I just, a couple of things through the meeting, I was just wondering, why are we on YouTube?
It's another option for people who use computers more than they would choose to watch public access, which is scheduled. They can watch it on, they can watch it on their own time.
Here's
Is
sign.
there extra cost for that?
Is there a cost? No.
Okay.
First off, it's only an estimate.
And then I was wondering,
It's just an estimate.
when it was brought to our attention about the webpage not being kept updated. It's not the first I've heard that, and I just was wondering if that can be addressed as well as with
So,
being.
yeah, Bob, so you've looked on the webpage?
No, I'm going by what
Sorry.
people have said and have requested or said that it's not being updated.
Yeah, because I'm pretty impressed that, I mean, Darlick seemed to indicate that what she was putting up seemed fine. So, you know, getting conflicting stories here.
Okay,
But I will check with, because I did make a note that I will check with the webmaster.
okay.
Well, I'm gonna add those couple things we did, and then I'll put them in your mailbox.
Yeah, fine.
And actually, the actual hard copies too.
I'm not,
I never got this.
Well, the ones from Pat. Like this one. So you guys will all have copies. It's really from Mike too. I mean, Mike's gonna put the quote together. Sorry, Bob, go ahead.
no, all I was saying, Mike, is it's just been a concern. So
Mhm.
we as a board, it should be followed up on, should it not?
Sure. Yeah. So,
Are we gonna have a meeting for the other employee that we have to have a meeting with, or is that gonna be left until next meeting?
other employee we need to have.
The one that we were supposed to go into executive session for,
We can go to executive session tonight.
but he's not here.
I'm not sure this is a,
I'm just asking when we're gonna deal with it. I mean, because it's, you know, if it's something that's really crucial, we don't wanna let it just, I think we need to follow up on some of these things.
we can talk about it tonight. What else you got?
No, that's fine. Are we gonna sit down and we're gonna work on those chapters or no?
I had a motion up.
Yeah, sure.
When is it?
What day is available for everybody? Let's put it this way, so it's not singled out for when somebody can make it and others can't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, can we start sometime next week?
I won't be here.
Okay.
We've made it after the 9th of June, that'd be best for me.
I was hoping we could get started with it before our public hearings, but
I think Joe should be here.
yeah, for sure.
I think we should.
All right, well,
Let me know.
then we can discuss it at our next meeting.
What did you think about having somebody from the business community involved and
I've
maybe the
supported,
ZRC, somebody from the ZRC being here?
The ZRC, the whole committee.
Okay, that's fine with me. What did you think about having somebody from the business community, maybe one or two people?
That's fine. Okay.
so just to be sure, typically the process historically is ZRC makes the recommendations, does the legwork, and then brings it to the board. I'm fine, absolutely, and I think I've been very vocal about it, that I support the process of the ZRC working as closely aligned as we can with the business community, and not even only the business community, the whole community. So I support it, if that's the question.
That's all I got then.
Bob?
So we'll have to do it after June 9th, correct?
What's this, I got one question. What's this tomorrow, at 2:00? What,
Well, if you could let me get to my place, and I'll review it
oh,
with you.
okay.
Thank you.
I have one other thing before you get to yours.
You
This
guys
letter,
need a pen.
we're going into executive session. Sandy, did you give a copy of this to everybody?
Yeah, I responded to that.
Yes.
Well, I got this, and she asked if it would be
You,
brought up.
you were copied on the email, this is the third time.
I know. I asked if it would be brought up.
Okay, bring it up.
No, we'll talk, that's personnel, we'll talk about it in executive session.
Okay. Is that it?
Yes, it is.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
You're on the floor, Mike. The floor is yours.
Thanks. We talked about most of this stuff. The records management is a good policy. Guys, please try to read it before we go to the meeting. It's something we want to do. Talked about the courts and cameras, so thanks to the court. Mike, we're still working on the fire contracts, fire department contracts. We've sent our copy for plotter kill to their lawyer, so we're waiting on feedback. I'll try to give John Tobias a call tomorrow, find out what's going on with it. Guys, I hate to ask, but any movement on the mailbox?
Yeah, we were talking about this. Do you really, because I'll put it in, it's not a problem. Do you really think we need this?
So, here's my thought. You know, there was, you know, during the tax season, for whatever councilmen were calling Sandy at home and everybody's making a big deal of it, this would have eliminated the whole issue. You drop the mailbox off and you're done. This also allows people in town hall who work in town hall, if they need to stop in and do work, especially maybe the court or the clerks or the assessor's office, to do additional work. But I think the biggest reason to put one in would be to...
Well, do you want it out there on the corner? Because
No.
Are they gonna deliver? Isn't that curbside over here?
They deliver it to the house.
Bring it right in here.
They bring it right in.
My only question is, what I have is, how are you gonna put something in the ground and have a secure mailbox where somebody's not gonna get in? To me, it should have a concrete pad and have a regular mailbox. How, you know, you're talking about putting a pole in the ground, that's not a problem. But what kind of a mailbox you gonna put on it that somebody's not gonna get in? You gotta have something bolted down, like a mailbox.
Mhm.
That's my,
I agree.
so what you should do is get a mailbox and bolt it to the sidewalk out there.
Either way.
So we're talking a commercial mailbox,
Well,
residential?
how are you gonna have something that you're gonna leave would you leave your taxes in a mailbox hooked on a pole? I
So,
wouldn't.
so it's probably actually safer than mailing them over the internet, but, you know.
No, I'm just saying, what are you gonna put on a post that's gonna be secure that somebody's not gonna get in it?
So,
I'm just asking.
Oh my gosh, Doug, let me finish. You asked me a question, I'll finish, I'll answer it. So are you suggesting that because we don't that people are gonna come around and rob the US Postal, US Mail? I think that's a felony. I think that's a pretty serious, has anybody had their mailboxes ripped off, ever?
Yes.
They actually took your mailbox.
I've had them knock mine right off.
So that's different than stealing the contents of your mailbox. You know,
Is this gonna be for outgoing mail too?
you can leave it for outgoing mail, yeah.
So if somebody puts stuff in, that's why I was just wondering if it was a commercial box, how are we gonna decipher what's been put in there for the town hall and what's to go out?
It's two separate boxes, two separate ones, like the top of it, one's on the bottom.
Okay, well, that's what I was.
I think if you just actually Google mailboxes, they're all gonna come, all kinds are gonna come up. Hundreds.
But that's what you want.
I'm just asking, maybe you put together a price for it, that's
A
all.
mail slot, so the mail goes inside.
That's a possibility too.
That's what I suggested, where it comes inside the building.
Slot.
So Vic left, I was gonna ask him to work on the escrow policy.
Come this way.
Can't leave. Don't stumble over it.
There's a application that we should refer to Carver's, put an application in to build, some townhouses. You guys should have a copy of it, should refer to. So you asked Doug about the audit. So if you guys don't remember, we had the Office of State Controller come in and do an audit on the town, in particular, the general fund. So the results are back. Wednesday, they're gonna do a readout with myself, and this is by their rules. Myself, Sandy, and Mike will be the first ones up, and then they'll do the councilman afterwards. I'm gonna suggest that Lou and Joe come in at 1 o'clock, and then Doug and Bob at 2
I've
o'clock.
already called them and told them I can't, Wednesday I'm gonna be gone.
But-
I already called and left them a message, and I already have the email on it, what they,
Right.
and I talked to Michael Chairs and
Yep, so there's no findings. Couple recommendations, but I guess we'll find out the particulars. We talked about the state police.
So I have to be here at 2 o'clock
You don't
tomorrow?
have to, Doug, you don't have to. It's recommended, you know, they asked if they wanted to, if you wanted to listen to their presentation, that's it.
Okay. I'll be here,
Yep, okay.
not a problem. I just asked what it was about. I didn't know what it was about.
All right,
Batteries on that.
yeah, whenever you're ready. So we're gonna take a timeout while we change back.
Take a time out?
So I met with Nymer Insurance last night for about an hour and change. We need to get a elevation certificate on the pump house on 7. So I'll ask Doug Cole to fill out the certificate. Right, I'm sure it's gonna be a certified engineer to do that.
Well, probably a surveyor or engineer, but.
Yeah. He's thinking about certificates of insurance for big projects, but we don't really have any. We talked about workman's comp. So we talked about cyber security. You know, I think from the town's perspective, we talked about updating our infrastructure, in particular getting a firewall in here. So again, there's liability coverage if somebody does get in there and grab a list, whether it's dog licenses, driver's licenses, anything, you know, we've had a breach and we are liable. So their first, matter of fact, they're gonna send us a questionnaire, and their first 2 questions are gonna be, are you password protected? Second question is, do you have a firewall? And if you don't, they won't cover us. So, pretty important. We talked about some other coverages that there is liabilities we need to talk about. Certain individuals should have special coverage. In particular, their example is the justice and the court clerk, probably the town clerk and the assessor. And there's also a link on the web training. They have a web training seminar on electronic theft. So some good stuff. It was a good meeting. So I'll get in touch, if it's okay with the board, with Doug Cole to get his certificate of elevation signed off. And I'm thinking that's it for myself. Anything for me? We want to move into executive session? Do I have a motion to move into executive session to discuss personnel issues?
so move. I'll second
All in favor?
Aye.
So we'll come out of executive session, but you don't have to stay.
Okay.
We'll call it a night. When we come back, there's gonna be no motions. Well, not for a fact, but we'll record it.
it. Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, so we're just gonna, for everybody else, we're taking a break. One person.